Conway-Walsh.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Today I want to say how dissatisfied we are that a deal has not been done to get the Assembly up and running in the north. And I want to thank the Sinn Féin negotiating team for doing everything humanly possible to get a deal, and indeed others in the wider civic society for the hugely positive role that they have played in trying to get the Executive and the Assembly up and running. The fact that we don't have a deal rests squarely on the shoulders of Theresa May and her Tory government. This is a monumental failure by her government, who are, after all, supposed to be the guarantors of the Good Friday Agreement. And to hear a leading DUP voice this morning say that the Irish government should keep their nose out shows exactly, to right-minded people, what we have been up against. He cited that Ireland doesn't tell other countries to operate a rights-based society. What kind of nonsense is this? It is obvious that he and his party failed to acknowledge the legal responsibility of the Irish government under the Good Friday Agreement. The fact that Minister Coveney said he was in favour of Act na Gaeilge indeed sent them into a frenzy of hostility. So what part of the right of any person living on this island to their Irishness or Britishness do they not understand? The entitlement of any of us to our Irishness or Britishness surely should never be offensive to anybody. Why are they so frightened by the prospect of two people who love each other expressing their love in a lifelong commitment of marriage? And why are families denied inquests decades after their loved ones have been killed? Why indeed has more than 15,000 Republican men and women served more than 100,000 years in jail? The British government refused to open the files that show the extent of the collusion between their security forces and loyalist paramilitaries. The fact is that the DUP have not addressed the equality and rights issues that caused the collapse of the political institutions. 19 years after the Good Friday Agreement and 10 years on from the St Andrews Agreement, the DUP have blocked an Act na Gaeilge, a Bill of Rights, marriage equality, respect, anti-sectarian measures and progress on these legacy issues. It is clear that a restored Assembly and Executive is only sustainable and tenable if it is based on fairness, respect and equality. To agree to the restoration on any other basis would be to facilitate the denial of basic rights which are protected in England, Scotland, Wales and the rest of Ireland. This would be to facilitate the cruel discrimination of hundreds of thousands of people across our island, and it's something that we as a party in Sinn Féin refuse to do and will not do. So Sinn Féin will not consent to be governed by the DUP on their terms, just as we would not expect the DUP electorate to consent to be governed by us on Sinn Féin terms. So I'm asking that Minister Coveney would come into the House to debate how his government plans to ensure that the rights of people living on this island are upheld and implemented, and how he, working with his government, intends to play his part as co-guarantor of the Good Friday Agreement up and running. I do want to say as well in conclusion that I completely, and we as a party completely support Senator Swanwick's bill and wish him well with getting that through the Houses as speedily as possible.
Thank you.